Check one, two, check one, two, check one, two. What is up, guys? You already know it's your boy Kagi back at it again with a new video. And in this video, I bring you everything you need to know about Aavegotchi. And I brought in an expert in Aavegotchi. He streams almost every single day and he knows everything about Aavegotchi. So his name is No Futuristic right here. No Futuristic, introduce yourself, my friend.
Hey, what's up, man? I am No Futuristic. Go by No Future Photo on Twitter, and I'm a Aavegotchi maxi.
Let's go, baby. So you stream every single day, Aavegotchi. How long you been in the community?
I started in the community around April of last year. It was I basically got in during the first round of season 1 of rarity farming, which is like a rewards like yield farming thing based on your gotchi's rarity and how you dress it up.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's find out everything we need to know about Aavegotchi. If you're new to Aavegotchi, what do you need to do? And how do you get started? What is it? Walk me through this, and if you can show your screen, that would be great.
Oh yeah. So you see here, I'm actually in the Gotchiverse, but we're gonna take it back a second, and you're gonna go. Initially, you should go to app.aavegotchi.com. If you are, you'll need to set up a Matic wallet. So there's very easy ways to go and set up a MetaMask, and then to import Polygon, you can do it through polygonscan.com. There's a single button that will add the RPC for Polygon. Once you do that, just go to app.aavegotchi.com and it'll show you all this information, which will lead you down the rabbit hole, the wiki, which is a very long document, which includes the light paper for the white paper for Aavegotchi, the light paper for the Gotchiverse realm, which is like the metaverse of Aavegotchi, and then just basically all the main game mechanics. There's also a medium, which is here. It's blog.aavegotchi.com, where you can find out about all the latest updates. Right now, we have I'm looking at the Gotchiverse game Bibles, which are explaining the Gotchiverse in detail. They always release these nice blog posts that give us a lot of information. So start at app.aavegotchi.com. Jump into Discord because it is one of the friendliest communities. So you can ask tons of questions and people will help you down this big, like we always refer to it as, it's a 1 inch wide, 1 mile deep rabbit hole. And once you fall in, it's just like, it's a lot of information.
For you to play Aavegotchi, what do you need to do? Do you need a collectible? Can you play without having the collectible? What are the ways you can actually get involved? Like right now, let's say I have my MetaMask, I have some money or whatever. What do I need to do? Where do I go to get an Aavegotchi?
So there's actually 3 ways now that you can do it. Previously, it was just 2, which was either go to the bazaar, which is app.aavegotchi.com. We have our own marketplace, safest marketplace out there, and you can buy a gotchi here. But more recent development back in April-ish was gotchi lending, which you can go and rent somebody else's Aavegotchi. It's all on chain, trustless, and basically borrow an Aavegotchi. You can either work it out as a scholar where you work with the guild and you get the Aavegotchi for free and do a split of the profits, or you can go and upfront cost pay. Like for this one, I would pay half a ghost and I would get this gotchi for 10 hours so that I can jump in the Gotchiverse and farm or do whatever I want. Now there's a new thing that actually just came out, which is the observer mode. So if you have the wallet set up, you don't need Ghost, you don't even need Matic. You can go in and just as an observer check out the Gotchiverse and go to different, like, so right now I'm going to my parcel because I can access that, and I'd be able to go in as this observer and walk around. Currently, observers are just observers. They can just see what's happening, but there's plans to allow them to actually build land and own land and build stuff. And then you would need to rent a gotchi to go and empty your reservoirs to pick up your yield. But as an observer, you can literally jump in the Gotchiverse and start doing stuff for absolutely nothing but your time.
Okay, can you earn anything as an observer, or it's just more like, let me see what's going on here?
At this point, it's let me see what's going on here. They haven't really added anything for the observers. Like the main role of the observer right now, because if you're looking at my parcel, which is on the screen, I'll bring that full screen. If you're looking at that, this
beautiful,
is one of my parcels.
Way.
Yeah, so I've decorated it. I've done all this stuff. Recently, Aavegotchi started something called a fake gotchi art collection. So observers, the one thing they can do is, like, if we walk over to some of these NFT displays, you could see the art that's in them. I don't have anything listed for sale, but if I was selling my art, my NFTs, the observer would be able to come over here and buy that directly either through the bazaar. Eventually, there's going to be a work integration that will allow for credit card usage. So right now, the main use for the observers is to get in and attend these parties because Aavegotchi has like launched something recent. Like I said, it's a deep rabbit hole. This is a bounce gate. So right now, we're allowed to set up these bounce gates on our property. And if we want to throw a party, we can invite a whole bunch of people over. Eventually, we're going to have a mechanic where we can do our own play drop. I can like basically charge up my bounce gate, invite people over, and then drop ERC 721 tokens, ERC 20 tokens, and eventually NFTs during my party to people who are there. Observers, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to pick that stuff up, but definitely rented gotchis will. So there's developing roles for the observer at this point.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, can you walk us through the ranking system? Let's say, and give us both perspective, because I know there's two perspective. As an owner, I have 4 Aavegotchi. I have lended before, and as a user, let's say I want to rent an Aavegotchi so I can earn some of those tokens that you guys drop. I think during every single Saturday, something like that, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Right now we do it during a spillover party, essentially every Saturday, our hangout. But this previous Saturday, we actually had a Halloween party where the game devs launched these pumpkins, like a playable PvE, basically, where we got to gang up and attack pumpkins. And when we killed them, they dropped alchemica, like 10,000 alchemica all over the map. So it became there are videos of that on my Twitter and YouTube, and it was a lot of fun. So there's that aspect of yield also. So with the rental system, I'll first look at it from the perspective of someone looking for the rental. Mm-hmm. You can go into Aavegotchi.com, app.aavegotchi.com/lending, and you can start filtering and looking for gotchis. At this point, all gotchis are pretty much created equally. Their traits haven't been implemented, so basically you're running around with the same gotchi but different dressings. Eventually, we'll get to a point where
it's a good opportunity, basically, right now.
Yeah, you can grab any gotchi, and they're all essentially the same. So you can basically just go look for the gotchi you want. You can, if you're on a whitelist, if you're a scholar, you can go and find someone like me that's a manager. I have a whole bunch of gotchis. And if you want to rent a gotchi, we can work out a deal where you can be on a whitelist, so you can have a whitelist set up. And then if you're not on whitelist, you can just start filtering based on how much you want to receive, if there's an upfront cost, and then the duration of the rental. Most gotchi rentals, I think the longest you can go is 30 days. So if you were to rent the gotchi, basically, like if I was to, I'll rent this one right now. I got a little ghost. I would come over here. I would borrow this for 0.2 ghost. Just do a basic Matic transaction. Zen token's not killing the network right now, so this isn't too bad.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So then I would have this gotchi, and then there would be a split. I would, as the borrower, get 45%. The owner would get 40%. And this other, which could be a third-party wallet, it could be for a guild, it could be for, just if you want to set up a third-party wallet for yourself, that 15% would go to that wallet. So basically, I can then jump in the Gotchiverse with the rented gotchi, run around, collect tokens, and when either the rental expires or at the end of the expiration of the rental, when the owner or the scholar claims back the alchemica, it'll automatically be split up via smart contract and go to your wallets. So
which is very important. There's no manual work here other than the fact that you post it or you rent it. That's the only manual work. Everything else is like automated, which is really important, right? We don't want to be sending tokens and stuff like that. Can you give us a little bit more context into what is it that we earn? What is that we earn? Because there's a few tokens here, and how do these tokens come into play in the gotchi world, right?
Okay, so actually, I'll switch out of this. There's 6 tokens technically. Ghost, which is the main token. Then we have something called Glitter, which is tokenized time. So we have the 4 alchemicas, which are basically the building blocks of the Gotchiverse that we use to craft and do stuff like that. And then we have Glitter, which is that 5th one, which is a representation of time. You can earn Glitter by doing like staking in LPs, basically Ghost Alchemica LPs, Ghost USDC, or the Alchemica USDC pairs on QuickSwap. Glitter as tokenized time, for each one glitter represents 1 block of time. So if you're crafting a certain installation, it might take for like a level 1, it takes 6,500 blocks of polygon. So if you had 6,500 or 65,000 glitter, you can pay and immediately get that upgrade. So Glitter is, I personally like Glitter tokenomics the most because it's a fixed supply. I think it's at 1 trillion and it's constantly being burned. And then recently previously we had raffles that went off of friends. You would stake Ghost and get friends. We've undone that system. And now what you would do is stake for Glitter. So the Glitter will be used for future raffles, which creates this even crazier deflationary pressure. So it's, there's the glitter usage, like you can see over here right now, they're represented as candies because we had that Halloween party and they haven't updated. Mm-hmm. But basically, there's 4 of them. There's this one would be FUD, the green. The red is FOMO. The blue is Alpha, and the purple is Keck. And each of these are used for different reasons, different crafting specialties, basically in the Gotchiverse. Some of them are more for social aspects, like some of the NFT displays take a lot more Alpha and Keck versus like Harvesters and Reservoirs that take a lot more FUD and FOMO. So each token has its own use case, but if you're just playing the game and collecting the tokens, there are vortexes all over the gotchiverse. So if you're in there, there's a great pumpkin battle. You get a whole bunch of stuff. You can easily run to a vortex, claim it, and it automatically goes to your wallet. So
And then you could trade these, right? In like in like Quick Swap or something like that, right?
Yeah, you can go to QuickSwap. I think Uniswap does have some liquidity. I always tell people on QuickSwap, because they have the new V3, go to V2 because the liquidity is actually better on V2 for Alchemica.
Very important, very important. Now, can you walk us through crafting something? Because I crafted something today and it was pretty fun. I think that is the way, you kind of incentivize people to use the token, right? So right here, we got the crafting recipe book. So give us a little bit of context on all of these, craftings that we can do, right? There's some tiles, there's some items that you can put in your land if you own a land, and then we'll go into the land and how people can buy it, right?
Yeah, so you can see there's this crafting table. If you're in the Gotchiverse, you can choose between a build mode, which is where you would drop your crafting once it's actually crafted. And then there's the crafting recipe. So you go to this crafting table. I don't have much Alchemica, so I'll try to craft something that's relatively cheap. But
the cheap one there, the 000, that one is...
Yeah, that's the altar. So everybody, we were talking about like the gotchis and the Gotchiverse. In the Gotchiverse, every gotchi gets something like a UBI, basically, the universal gotchi income, essentially. And if you own land, each gotchi can go to an altar and basically do a little rain dance and then get Alchemica daily. So we do that daily at this point. It might change a little bit, the mechanics, to kind of basically even out the economy. But if you own land, altar level 1 is free. And then you would go in and upgrade it, which we would do in the build mode. So recently we've had some art contests. So that's what these tiles are for. There was, I think, like 20,000 ghost up for grabs between 2 contests to do art designs on your parcel. And then some of the other craftables, like we see the tiles, there are these harvesters. So you would do for each Alchemica, you need to add a level 1 harvester. And then for each Alchemica to actually you can have the harvester, but you have to have a reservoir first. So for each Alchemica, you need a reservoir as well. So if you're doing FUD, you're farming for FUD, you need a FUD harvester and a FUD reservoir, and you would craft those here. And then some of the other things which are new are the NFT displays, which are for the art release that we just did, the Fake Gotchis collection, and then some limited edition NFT displays, as well as some of the Halloween installations and decorations that we just got.
Which is pretty cool, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on here, and there's a ton of stuff that was previously released that was limited edition that you can't get, like godlike rugs. They were only available for, I think, like 3 hours, and there's only 15 of them now at this point.
And let me ask you a question. So the alchemical altar, what does it do exactly? What do you do with this alchemical? What's the purpose of this exactly?
So this being the UBI generator, basically, if you think of the alchemical altar beyond just the UBI, it is the base of the tech tree for your parcel. So if you have a level 1 altar, you can only upgrade to level 1 installations. You can only go to a level 1 farming setup. So
town center, basically.
Yeah, it's like basically, if like the way I like to think of it is if you were running a studio, like a music studio, this is your rack. This is what has everything in the parcel. And everything runs off of this. Let me just get off of this.
If you look at something like Age of Empires or any RTSs like these, you need a central hub that basically from there you can. It actually doesn't allow you to do a farm. It doesn't allow you to do anything unless you have the town center or the town hall. So yeah, I can see how this works. Interesting.
Yeah, so your altar starts out level 1. I believe, I forget the exact number, but level 1s have a lot of spillover. So every time you do a prayer or you do farming and you empty your reservoir, depending on the level, it goes from 1 to 9, you have a certain amount of spillover. I think when you get to level 9, you only have 10% spillover. So you're incentivized to continuously upgrade. So level 1 altar right now, mine is a level 4, so I think the spillover is a little less. I think it's only like 70 or 35%, something like that. So once I get level 4 on the altar, I can then push all the other installations up to level 4. Now this parcel I'm not using for farming. This is my art parcel, because if you were like, we log into the Gotchiverse, we have bounce gates, which are for the parties. So on this parcel, I basically paid. We have a leaderboard. I am the top bounce gate, the Music City Gotchi Gang art gallery. I have art up there, and I paid glitter for this. Like I can pay Alchemica to be on the leaderboard, and then I ended up paying it was like $50 of Alchemica to be at the top during the big event. So I'm still number 1 for a few days, but it gives us this is for more of the social elements of the Gotchiverse. So it's a very complex onion, very much so.
Very interesting, man. Like that's crazy how much time and how much effort you have actually put into Aavegotchi here. This is really really interesting to see, and I'm actually incentivized to go back to Aavegotchi because I have 2 lands, I have 4 Aavegotchis, and I know you do some petting kind of business. I don't know if you're still doing it. I might have to give it to you, bro, because my Aavegotchis are at 0 right now. I don't know if I can do
Oh
it with the
man.
land. Yeah, I mean, they're not the best Aavegotchis, but they're still like Gen 1. So, I mean, I'm happy with my Aavegotchis, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm just in too many games. But, anyways, is that something you do for the people here that might have Aavegotchis? They have forgotten about it like me, and now they want to come back. Can they give it to you, to your business, so that you can manage them?
Yeah, I'd say there's 2 things. So right now I run like basically an asset management business because the Aavegotchi smart contracts and diamond contracts allow me to be a lending operator. It's similar to a petting operator where you give me permission to just pet your gotchi, but I don't take custody of it. I can't do anything else. So with lending operating, you could do the same thing for rentals. Now, the second part of this is I am now the partnership lead for Orium Network, which runs the Orium Guild, and they actually have an auto petting service and a lending scheduler service. So if you don't want to like manage the actual rentals of your gotchis, you could put them up and they will batch claim and relist, like continuously relist after rentals. Another easy route with land, because there is one project that's doing this, the Gotchi Vault, where you could deposit your land into the Gotchi Vault and receive a 10% yield from their scholars, anybody using their assets that channel on your land. So if you don't have time to actually build the land, you can put it in the Gotchi Vault, but you can also come to a person like me where I can channel for you and even build on your parcel. But we're waiting. The one thing is we are waiting for Pixelcraft to release a whitelist feature where if you're a guild, like say for me, I have my land in a hot wallet. I have all my stuff in a cold wallet, so that my hot wallet I can service my clients. Eventually, my parcels I'll be able to whitelist wallets, so then I can just move everything to a cold wallet and then whitelist my hot wallet to go and do upgrades, emptying of reservoirs. So then you could do that yourself too, so that you can delegate it to somebody else, but without taking any risk to your assets because they can't. All they can do is go on the land and empty stuff.
Absolutely, I like that. Now I'm gonna do everything with you, man. Like I don't want to go anywhere else, man. I mean, we've been friends for a while now, and I trust you. No matter, even if it's trustless, I'd rather do it with you. Now,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
yeah, yeah, man. Now let me ask you a question. What is the future of Aavegotchi? What are we looking at here? Like how does Aavegotchi look like in 2-3 years? Is there going to be mini games? Because obviously you can put, for example, your artwork there, but what if that is a hub to a mini game in Aavegotchi? Something like mini clip, but within the Aavegotchi world, that we can play different games. Because right now the game is a farming game with an MMO, which is actually pretty damn cool, right? I don't think there's many games like that you can farm and have your land farming and also hang out with other players in real time, which is absolutely insane. This is the future of farming games. There have to be MMOs. So, what is the future of Aavegotchi? How do you see Aavegotchi?
Well, there's a few things like this past weekend we did the pumpkin smash, which we were all trying to advocate for the pumpkins to be ducks. It's like an inside joke from one of our hangouts, but that was like a good visual of what they kind of have planned. It was a very interactive game where there was 200 of us on a the guild, like their partner parcel, beating the hell out of pumpkins for yield. So it was that, but there's also they are working on an SDK kit, which the SDK will go on the parcel. So in this metaverse, if you're walking around and you come to my gallery and say you want to buy one of my t-shirts, I can have a marketplace set up there that's not just going to exit you like on the other side. You click on a link and it takes you to Web 2. No, it'll still be in this marketplace. So there's those things. And then also for guilds, they're building lodges and stuff like that, which haven't been released yet. But the idea will be that guilds can then basically do their social events, basically like voice chat and maybe video chat in the future in the Gotchiverse. Beyond that, there are tons of community developers that are working on mini games. I've talked with a couple of them as the partnership lead for Orium because we're always looking for games to like partner with because we build like rental systems essentially and have our own like guild scholars to onboard. But there's a lot of Aavegotchi mini game devs that are currently working on games. Some of them are very close to release. We're talking like the next week or two, and that will be doing like basically tournaments on the side for Gotchi Gang, with the hopes of eventually having these games hosted in the Gotchiverse. Pixelcraft is also working on a PvP arena, which we're going to start getting some samples of hopefully by year end, where it'll just be straight up battle with DeFi incentives, like where we're fighting for yield. So there's a lot of stuff planned out. But I like to think of Aavegotchi, the protocol. I think of the game, but it's like they're building out the protocol. So now all of us can start building on top of it, which we're starting to see. There's been talks of like getting another game development team or studio in to like potentially build with us. So just a lot of cool stuff on the roadmap.
No, yeah, that sounds really exciting, to be honest. I think Aavegotchi has delivered from day one. And of course, I'm not the one that is always pushing Aavegotchi. And maybe, Coder Dan. Yo, Coder Dan, I don't know why you always comment, but don't follow me. What is it, man? What is it, man? Come on, follow me. I think he kind of like, I like Kagi, but not that much type of thing. But it's okay. It's okay. Aavegotchi has been delivering since day one, man. Since day one, they said we're building a DAO. They created a DAO from day one. And their game, constant updates, they're always ahead. They're always ahead, to be honest. They're being ahead of everybody. I know Axie Infinity made it to the top. There was a boom in Axie Infinity. They caught the wave at the right time. But at the end of the day, if you really think about the people that have delivered, Aavegotchi is 100% up there here in the Web3 gaming ecosystem for sure. Hey man, look, is there anything else that you want to teach us today? And if not, where can people find you? And how can people follow you, watch your streams, maybe join your guild, et cetera, et cetera?
You can find me on Twitter, No Future Photo, and then on YouTube, I'm Music City Gotchi Gang. So just drop me a DM. I'm always onboarding new clients, and I've actually have my own little scholars on the side, which one of them is my son. He's 12, so he's going to be channeling some gotchis for me. Maybe I'll have him set up and channel your gotchis. If you have questions, seriously, just check out my YouTube. I literally stream almost every day. I host Twitter Spaces for Gotchi Gang, and then I host the Hangouts as well, and then just do general news coverage of Aavegotchi. So if you have questions, send me a DM. Check out my YouTube stuff. You get everything there.
I love the fact that you have been consistent with Aavegotchi and that you have been basically the leader in this, just straight up talking about Aavegotchi consistently. You haven't gone to another game, and that's a very much needed part of any game, right? Somebody that is always there, that is always showing up, whether there's bear market, bull market, doesn't matter. You're there, you're always providing information at no cost, just straight up just being a good community member. So that's really nice to have in Aavegotchi. And one of the things that I was worried about at the beginning, because I knew I always wanted to be in many games, and I was like, how, there's only so much I can do in helping Aavegotchi, and I think people like you are 100% needed, right? So thank you for doing that, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah. All right, guys, make sure you like, make sure you comment, and make sure you subscribe to this channel. And also make sure you check out everything you need to know about Aavegotchi in this guy's channel. I'm going to leave the links down below. I'll see you guys next video. Peace.